again. This is Barry Kraft bringing you yet another smattering from Shakespeare. This time I want to share the words of Peter Alexander, a British critic and Shakespearean expert who wrote at least 50 years ago the following. Shakespeare insists on having the best of both worlds. Shakespeare shifts the point of view as it suits him, and we cannot find any standpoint that will allow us to see all the figures in the picture in satisfactory focus, or as I would say, simultaneous focus. And let me give you a couple of examples from Romeo and Juliet. The young man, Paris, chosen by Capulet to marry his daughter, Capulet, not knowing that she's already secretly married to Romeo, introduces young Paris, and young Paris seems to be an exemplary youth. He's polite, he is considerate. At the very end of the play, he is so woe-struck by Juliet's death, as he thinks, and as Romeo thinks, although she's plenty alive, though sleeping for some 48 hours. He goes to mourn with holy water at the Capulet monument. And there he finds Romeo ready to kill himself and stop thy unhallowed toil, vile Montague, he says. And Romeo fights and kills him. And do we feel sorry for Paris? In any other world we would, but we are so taken with the story and the emotions of Romeo and Juliet, we cannot but see Paris as a loathed outsider, but he's not. An even more poignant example is that of the world of the nurse and the world of Juliet, the oldest and the youngest. When they come together after Romeo has been banished, and Juliet asks her, what advice does she have? The older woman looks at young Juliet and says, Faith, here it is. Romeo is banished, and all the world to nothing, he never dares return to challenge you. I think it best you marry with this county Paris. Oh, he's a lovely gentleman. Romeo is but a dishcloth in respect of him. I think you're happy in this second match, for it excels your first. Or if it did not, your first is dead. Or 'twere as good he were, for you've no use of him. These words are very practical. They come from a nurse who has seen probably close to half a century of births, deaths, marriages. To her, Juliet's half-weak crush on a Montague isn't going to have much weight. She tries to give her young charge the best advice she possibly can for a long and glorious future life married to Paris with everybody's approval. But the minute she says this, Juliet's ears have not drunk 100 words of the nurse's utterance, and Juliet cuts her out from her heart and counsel forever. We cannot see the standpoint of the nurse and the standpoint of Juliet in simultaneous focus, but they are both valid.